Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the inspirational convo I had with Sandra Chuma in our last episode. If you haven't listened to that interview, feel free to pause this now, go back and listen to that one, and then come back and join us. Or you do you. We have already discussed this. Today I listened to a recap episode before I listened to the episode. It's like Blinkist, but for podcasts. We'll give it a name. All right. Okay. See y'all.
I love it.
I'm so excited you're here. I can't wait for us to talk about Sandra Chuma. But before that, I have to just say we are 2 days away from kicking off Agency Mini number 5. And Brad, how excited are you for this?
Oh, it's going to be amazing. We have had a bunch of people already sign up, and it's really exciting to see people getting enthusiastic about moving their businesses forward. And the program that we have in store for them, they don't even know what's coming. No. It's going to be a whirlwind. It's going to be amazing. If you are wondering what the heck we're even talking about, you can go to profitablepilates.com/mini. And if we still have room at this point, by the time you hear this, you can sign up. If there's no room, you will find the wait list there, and you can find out for the next time. But basically, it's a 7-day mini program of our open enrollment ongoing coaching, business coaching for fitness business instructors. And it is a ton of fun.
It's so much fun. So here's the thing. Brad and I are not big fans of Facebook, but we do use it for this program. And it is a freaking party. Every time we do this, we have over 100 people in there. And it's just people sharing their goals and getting actionable strategies and taking super messy action. There's always wins to be had. Like I love letting people in. It's so much fun to let them in the group. It's so much fun to see why they're there. My notifications blow up like crazy. Brad and I don't even take calls or friends. Anyone who's been asking us to hang out, we're like,
we order dinner all week. Like there's no time.
After August 7th, we get the dog sitter. I work out, but that's about the only thing I do outside of a Facebook group. So anyways, you have 2 days to sign up at profitablepilates.com/mini. And again, if it's sold out, which it always does. So if it is, you'll get the wait list and just put yourself on there. And don't worry, we'll check in on you. We love to help people with their fitness businesses. Okay, so babe, do we have a question from the audience?
We totally have a question.
I'm super excited about this.
Yeah.
Well. Oh, want me to read it?
I would love for you to read it. Yes.
I'm going to read it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. This is from someone who DM'd me at the Be It Pod. That's where you can actually, if you have questions for us, you just DM us there. And the question is, here it goes. I have a question for you regarding how to handle and help negative friends. I have a friend who's a gorgeous person, great spirit, awesome pizzazz. Currently, though, she's on a really negative spiral. Because she's so funny, they are really entertaining stories, but I feel like she's living in Rant City and can't get out. Like you gals said in the pod, she's looking for ways to be right. I want to help her see that she can attract positive, not just negative, but then don't want to come across lecturing. Do you have a way you share this type of message with these people? I don't want to remove her from my life, and I also work with her, so the contact is frequent. I was thinking maybe a book, but also have no idea. I know she's open to change also, as it's stuff we've talked about. So that's tough. Negative people are hard.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that it is a decision to be positive or negative, but it's also a habit, right? And that's the hard part, is that we, just in the same way that we, habitually walk with our shoulders down or whatever, turn our feet out from a physical perspective, there's a mental habit that we build for ourselves as well in how we think And it's just so easy to go right back to that mindset of, the world's out to get me, or everything is against me, and it's really, it's a combination. It's actually, this question couldn't be more poignant, because if you went back and listened to Sandra's episode, she actually talks about the world being against you mentality and the stories that we tell ourselves, but it's also the story that the world tells ourselves. Mm-hmm. So this is a cycle, this is a habit, and it is a really hard thing to break. However, if you were going to be recommending a book to someone, I have a feeling I know which one Lesley is going to say, and it's Tiny Habits.
Oh, which is also what Sandra does. That's actually funny. Yes, totally Tiny Habits. I was also thinking The Big Leap, but I love what you said there. It is a habit for her, and it's a choice. I'm also going to say, you wrote that she's funny and the stories are really entertaining. So she's getting attention from people laughing at these stories, and she might have a story that she's telling herself that if I rant and tell a funny story, that's why people pay attention to me.
Sure.
So there actually might be that she thinks this is actually how she gets people to pay attention to her, or that this is like who she is, and it's this persona that she's wearing, and who would she be if she stops being like this? So I definitely love the Tiny Habits book, and you'll hear a lot about that with Sandra too. And The Big Leap is a great one. It is hard. I'm going to talk a little bit about boundaries. It is hard. If you work with someone, it's kind of difficult to put those boundaries up. But what I would suggest, if you cannot cut the person out of your life who's being negative, be the person you wish that they were to them. So just literally, you don't rant, you don't say negative things. Be really conscious of giving them what you wish they were giving you. And reciprocity is real. It's also subconscious, so it's super cool. The other thing I would say is books are really awesome. They also take time. And if someone is not if someone doesn't read it going, yes, this is what I've been looking for, they won't. There's a stack of books on the table that I've been wanting my dad to read. I don't think that they've moved in order at all. So what I would say is send her podcasts like these.
Yeah. Actually, this is a lot more digestible than a book.
Yeah. And so, that's what I would do is send them the inspiration that you wish that they were listening to. And then also just remember that it is their choice and not your responsibility. So that is hard because you work with them. But if you really feel that they're taking you down, you are just going to have to come up with some really great things. Something that I suggested to someone in my coaching group actually was pull a book out of what I learned about celebrities. When I worked at Fred Siegel, I would meet tons of celebrities, and they would walk around with the phone. You can't see me on a podcast, but the YouTubers, you can see me. They'd walk around with their cell phone up to their ear. I swear they're listening to the time. I swear it was. And the time is now 4:01 PST, beep. But I don't know, because they would do that. Why? If you have a phone to your ear, people don't talk to you.
Right.
So you might need to put a phone to your ear and act like, oh, I got a call. And your phone can be on Do Not Disturb. People are used to phones ringing, not hearing it. Give yourself some outs to distance yourself and build up your resistance to negative energy. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think I like what you said. I appreciate what you said.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you said.
Oh, so cute. All right. Now let's talk about Sandra Chuma.
Yes, Sandra!
All right, everyone. If you didn't listen to the last episode, Sandra Chuma is a shining beacon of hope.
Literally.
Being around her just makes you want to smile.
We haven't even been around her yet.
Well, I guess even on Zoom calls. First of all, she's got an incredible story about growing up in a hut with a mud floor, then going off to college, and eventually building an 8-figure company with her husband. But secondly, her goal, her focus to empower others is simply inspirational. What have you done with your life recently? Inspirational.
Yeah.
Her experiences, her life experiences, her internal struggles, which she was so open in sharing, have shaped the way she thinks and has changed what she does for the betterment of the entire world.
Yeah.
I mean, she's awesome.
She's amazing. And if you if you ever have a chance to watch this podcast, hers is definitely one worth watching. Just the way she speaks and the grace she has. And like when he says a shining beacon of hope, you can see her shine.
Yeah.
Beacon of hopeness. Okay, well, here's what I love that she said. Giving. Her father said, your success will never mean anything unless you use it to help others, unless you use it to reach back and bring others with you. What is the meaning of success if you're only doing it for you? So I love this so much because I think it's really easy to put just next to whatever it is that we're doing. And we go, I'm just this, I'm just this. And when you put that word in front of you, you also just become really obsessed with what you're doing. And something that I started years ago, and I'm so grateful for you, Brad, because you've actually been able to help me do this, is everything we do. OPC, it's all about bringing that entire community with us. Profit Applies with agency. It's like, we've had success. Now, let me show you how we did it so we can bring other people with us. I want to rise all the tides. Like, there's only one tide. Is there? But there's many oceans.
We'll go with it.
I'm just rising the
all
tide.
55 tides.
All 55 is there? But at any rate, like, and it's also why we started this podcast. Like, it feels like a hamster wheel if you're just doing things for yourself, or it can feel a little stucky. Stucky's not a word, but you get stuck.
We're just making it all up today.
Just making all words up today.
Well,
I think that I want people to come with me on this journey, because what's the point if they're not?
Yeah, I agree 100%. And but in context with what she was specifically saying, she was saying how she definitely had a crash, where she built this epic company, which she really struggled with feeling guilty about not being happy. Because she literally grew up in a village, in a hut, and now she has an 8-figure company, and she wasn't happy. Yeah. And she's like, I'm living a life that my grandparents would never have dreamed of, and my cousins would give their right arm for, but I'm not happy about it, and I don't understand. And I think that was the beginning of her revelation. Really listening to her father about, what is the meaning of success if it's not, if it's only for you, or your success will never mean anything unless you use it to help others, unless you use it to reach back and bring others with you. And that's like, it sounds like this nice thing you want to hear, but she lived it. She literally experienced it, where suddenly at the top, she's like, nothing's different for me now. But I'm apparently here, whatever that means.
Well, I think it's because we all just are going, we're all going for what we think the world thinks success is. And then we expect that to make us happy. That's why with the Be It Till You See It podcast exists. Be the thing you want to be before you have it.
Yeah.
Be the happy person you want to be when you have the thing, and you'll be happier all the way there. But
and the journey. I mean, she talked about that too, where it's about the journey and enjoying where you're at today, right now. Instead of this, angst that we like put on ourselves for, I'm gonna when this happens, then I'll be happy. It's.
I mean, her rock bottom definitely helped her be it till she sees it, for sure. But the other thing I think is just really important is that this is not something she said, but something I'm thinking of is like, we don't want to ever take away anyone's rock bottoms. Like that place is literally where the seeds of so many things come from. And so if you are
where all those tides come from.
Yes, that is where the tides come from. But the point is that if you feel like someone is not acting as if, is not being it till they see it, or you feel like you're not there yet, if you feel like you're at a rock bottom right now while you're listening to this, that is like where you're supposed to be, and you can't take that from yourself. And I have been at rock bottoms, Brad has been at rock bottoms, and like those were pivotal moments in our lives that actually changed us for the best versions of ourselves. And so anyways,
well, I do think that there's room for those rock bottoms to change you for the worst, but fortunately by surrounding yourself with people who are looking out for you, and like making sure you go through it.
Yeah.
You can learn from it. And I know for me, when I was getting a divorce in the past, it literally changed who I am today, bar none. Like nothing else was more impactful on who I am today than that experience. And it was a terrible experience. I hated every moment of it. It was so painful, but it was such a transformative place to be. And I know, Sandra talked a little bit about that with her bathroom floor. So you'll have to go back and listen.
Yes.
But
also,
yeah.
I think you made a really good point, and then we'll talk about what you liked, is that it's the people around you. And thank goodness for people like her father who could say something to her that would make her think and change what she was doing. And y'all have to check out what she's up to, because she is bringing you with her. She really is. What'd you love?
Okay, so she said this other thing that I thought was really vulnerable. She said, life was hard, but it was fine. And she had this incredible community. We were just talking about community. She had this incredible community where she grew up in Zimbabwe. And then she went off to college, and she was out of her community. She was away from her people, her support, her loving, family and friends and neighbors. And she said that was actually the beginning of when she began, she actually said this amazing word, not enoughness. That's when she began experiencing this not enoughness, and she said she went to school in England, and they talk about Zimbabwe. If Zimbabwe's in the news, it's talked about as a third world country, and so she became very small in her thinking, and she never shared. She said it took years for her to start to tell people where she came from, and she said she was lucky enough to get away with, her accent was British English. That's how they speak in Zimbabwe, so nobody ever questioned where she was from. But she never told anyone that she was from Zimbabwe. And I thought you actually hinted at it earlier. When we put the word "just" in front of ourselves, we're doing exactly that. I'm just a teacher, or I'm just a fitness teacher. I'm just a Pilates teacher. That kind of story, I'm just from a village, I'm just from a third world country, whatever. It's consistently reinforcing this negative view, this not enoughness that Sandra was talking about, where today she said she's so proud to be from Zimbabwe, from a village of people who loved her and cared for her, and how much that's completely changed, her life, that support that she had in that space. So anyway, I was thinking about how we are applying that to ourselves in the different scenarios that we're going through.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think whether or not you're from a small town or a small country, or, it's so easy for us to play small and not feel like we're enough. And I think it's so important that you're enough just because you are who you are. And that's it sounds so cliche and so woo woo. It's a one woo room in here. There's only room for one woo. And the truth is,
it's so woo.
It's so woo. I'm making one woo thing. But the reality is that, it's interesting how this theme of this episode is about the stories we tell ourselves. It's a story you're telling yourself, and you can tell yourself a different story. And I know it's really hard, but the subconscious mind is actually really malleable. And so the more you remove just from any way you introduce yourself, or any way you talk about yourself, the more you actually talk yourself up. I tell people all the time, you don't like saying that you're a Pilates teacher, you feel like people don't take you seriously for that when you have this kind of advice or this advice, then call yourself something else. You're a wellness expert, whatever. You get to change.
You can say, I change people's lives.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, what?
I know. When one day Brad introduced us as something else, and I was like, woo, okay, I'm standing taller, So, I just changed my job title, and I feel so much prouder because of my new title. I am the Chief Vision Officer. What? CVO. That is so much better than I was calling myself before. So if you are feeling small or not enough, start with how you introduce yourself and just start changing it there. That's a great takeaway.
Love it. All right. So finally, let's talk about the beit action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with Sandra?
We decided to team up on this one.
This is really hilarious because she said, well, I don't have just one. I'm going to cheat. It's also more than 3. I was like, what? And she's like, it's 6. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
She definitely is the first to do 6. And
she's the first.
And they're so freaking good.
This is genius because, she obviously started a company called Worthy. Okay. Mm-hmm. And again, stories we tell ourselves, Worthy, she took Worthy and made it an acronym. So the W stands for why. So reconnecting with your why. The O stands for owning the day. The R is resting, reflecting, and rewarding yourself, celebrating yourself. And
the T is all about tracking because how do you know where you're going? So many people don't track. You've got to track whatever it is, and I promise you, it's moving the needle forward. H is habits because you are you're everything you have, and the habits, those are things you do all the time. We're big on habits, Sandra and me. Y is all about you. You understanding, believing in yourself, and having the tools to help you understand why it's been challenging for you to achieve your goals in the past and how you must move beyond that. So, y'all,
I think it's so crazy that the way that this episode is kind of all circled around this idea of worthiness. And that actually I produced the episode, but that wasn't on purpose. And now I'm reading all the action items thinking, oh, it's all one story. And it's so amazing because Sandra is a storyteller. That is literally what she does. So wow, she's so good at that.
She's so good. We'll have to have her back because I'm not done talking to her. And I instantly light up thinking about her.
Well, let's just quickly run through. I think reconnect, I'll keep these short here, but the W, reconnecting with your why, helps you build that foundation for you to go out and own your day.
100%.
Right? And then when you go out and you own your day, you've got the R, which is the resting, reflecting, and rewarding yourself, celebrating yourself. So when you've reconnected with your why, you can go out and own your day. Then you can celebrate what you have gone and done. And it's so important. We are huge fans of celebrating, mini wins here. It's a big deal.
Wins are so important, and it's so important that I'll talk about this in everything we do, but in OPC, I'm literally every single class talking about celebrate what you did do. Do not focus on what you didn't do, right? Like the more you celebrate what you did do, the easier it is to show up to hit your mat and do your Pilates practice again, right? In agency, we have people, like if they ever complain, we have a channel that lets them vent. And if they do use it, they have to immediately, not tomorrow, not later in the week when they have one, no, immediately go to the wins, because here's the deal. You really do see what you believe to be true. And when you're in a negative mindset, you just keep seeing bad things happening. So as soon as you look for a win, you just see other good things happening. And when you celebrate you, it really does help you own a day and remind you of your why. And so those 3, super key. Tracking, just really quick, anything that you want to do, you should be tracking like where you started and where you're at. And Sandra, like I said, she's a tiny habits coach. I've been studying tiny habits as well because I'm obsessed with how we get things done. And the truth is that like you have to, whatever it is, maybe you track it in your calendar, maybe you handwrite it in a journal. That's what gratitude journals are for, so you can track your gratitudes.
Yeah.
The beauty of gratitudes, y'all, is judgment cannot live in the same space as gratitude. So if you're feeling super judgy on yourself, just start saying things you're grateful for and it like changes. But anyways, tracking anything you track, you will actually expand.
I mean, it's one of the things that we bring into our OPC challenges is tracking. It's also the reason why we have one class available for 7 days, because you're going to be able to measure your progress based on the previous days taking class, because it's the same class. That's literally on purpose. It's a way to easily mentally track how far you're winning, how you're succeeding, again, celebrating. But the tracking, it's funny because when you actually like write it down and you start tracking and see it in front of you, it does shape your actions and habits, because you don't want to have an empty box on your sheet for Thursday, whatever, if you didn't track what it was you were doing. So you do it, right? Yeah. And that helps you with H, your habits. And then lastly, like we kind of were already talking about with Y, it's about you understanding yourself, believing in yourself, knowing that you are enoughness.
Yes, you are enoughness.
And you have the tools, and having the tools to help you understand why it's been challenging to achieve your goals, and now move beyond that. So anyway, Worthy, she actually has a full company, IamWorthy.co. So that's absolutely worth checking out. She's just awesome. It was a really lovely interview to listen to, and I'm going to go back and listen to it again.
Yeah, I listen to them whenever they come out again. I just love it. I learned so much the second, third, fourth time around. So anyways, everyone, I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so grateful you're here. How are you going to use these tips in your life? I want to know, are you using the WOR, using the whole Worthy? Tell us, share it. You just screenshot this, tag us on Instagram with tag Sandra Chuma, her handle is below, and also the Beit Pod, so at Beit Pod, with your takeaways, and send us a DM if you have questions, anything like that. We'd love to hear from you. And also please share this with your friends. That is how this podcast gets out to other people.
Bye.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
Kevin and Belle at Disenyo handle all of our audio editing and some social media content.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jaira Mondal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Pedroso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And the Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.